It all counts. Not long after the accident, I turned at the gate on my way to school one morning and looked back at the front stairs. There were only 10. Normal-looking grey concrete, not like the 22 treacherous wooden steps at the back. The front stairs had a small set of lines and some grey sand set in the middle so you wouldn't slip in bad weather. Somehow, it seemed wrong to have walked down them unawares. I felt bad about it. Ungrateful to those stairs that had borne my weight uncomplaining for all of my 8 years. I walked back to the stairs and climbed to the top. Then I started down again, but this time I counted each one. There. 10. The day went on, but I couldn't stop thinking about those 10 stairs. Not obsessing. Nothing that kept me from schoolwork or skipping or talking, but a gentle teasing like the way your tongue is drawn to a loose front tooth. On the way home it seemed natural to count my steps from the school gate, down the path, over the footpath, across the road, along the street at the bottom of the hill, across another road, up the hill and then into our yard. 2,827. A lot of steps for so short a distance. But I was smaller then. I'd like to do that walk again now that I'm 172 centimetres instead of 120, and I might one day. I can only remember lying in bed at the end of that first day, triumphant. I had measured the dimensions of my world, and I knew them. And now, no one could change them. In time, counting became the scaffolding of my life. What's the best way to stop nonchalantly so as not to arouse suspicion should someone interrupt? It's okay to stop. It doesn't break the rules. The numbers are patient and will wait, provided you don't forget where you were up to or take an extra pace. But whatever you do, don't lose count or you'll have to start again. It's hard to stop the involuntary twitching, though. Grace, why are your fingers moving like that? Like what? Funny how I sensed this wasn't something to be discussed with other people, even when I was 8. The numbers were a secret that belonged only to me. Some kids didn't even know the length of the school or their house, much less the numbers of letters in their own name. I am a 19. Grace Lisa Vandenberg. 10s began to resonate. Why do things almost always end in zeros? Crossing a road was 30. From the front fence to the shop was 870. Was I subconsciously decimalising my count? Did I stop at the shop's doormat rather than the door so it would end in a 0? Realising the world was driven by 10s was a beautiful turning point, like someone had given me the key. When tidying my room, I started picking up 10 things. 10 things an hour, 10 things a day, 10 brushes of my hair, 10 grapes from the bunch for little lunch, 10 pages of my book to read before sleep, 10 peas to eat, 10 socks to fold, 10 minutes to shower, 10. Now I could see not just the dimensions of my world, but the size and shape of everything in it. Defined, clear, and in its place. My Barbie country camper was out. My Cuisenaire rods were in. On the outside, they don't look like much. Green plastic box, inside bits of wood, cut and smoothed in various sizes and colours. Invented by Georges Cuisenaire, my second favourite inventor, while he was looking for a way to make maths easier for children. I love them, especially the colours. Each rod is a number that corresponds to its length, and each number is a different colour. I live here in Glen Iris, 2 blocks from where I grew up. I live alone, except for Nikola Tesla. He's an 11. His photo is in a polished silver frame on my bedside table, right next to my Cuisenaire rods. The picture was taken in 1885 when he was 29 by Napoleon Sarony, the famous photographer. The original hangs in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., next to an induction motor Nikola invented in 1888. His hair is neatly parted and slicked down, although the right side refuses to lie flat. It's cut short above his ears, which are too large for his delicate head, and which lie backwards on an angle. A greyhound, sensing prey. His moustache is also asymmetrical. Certainly presentable enough, not scruffy by any means, but not preened either. He's wearing a white shirt with a collar pinned down inside his suit coat, which is darker and striped, with narrow lapels that I assume were usual at the time. But it's his eyes that show the world who he is. Deep-set, dark, staring straight ahead to the future. As it's Saturday, after breakfast I go to the supermarket. At 8:45 on Saturday morning in January in Glen Iris, the supermarket is deserted. Waiting for me at the checkout is a handsome boy, 20-something, with too much enthusiasm on his pink face. Either he's still full of love for all mankind from last night's ecstasy, or he's waiting for the right time to talk to me about Amway. Still, there's no other checkout open. The boy smiles encouragingly. I feel a headache coming on. I push my shopping trolley over, squeaking with each step. My trolley has 2 trays of chicken thighs, fat and glossy, each tray containing 5. A carton of eggs marked as a dozen. Each week I assure Ecstasy Boy that I've already checked the eggs. This is so they won't open the carton and notice I've removed 2 and left them in the assorted spices. Plastic bags containing 100 beans, that's a pain, 10 carrots, 10 baby potatoes, 10 small onions, 100 grams of salad mix. I refuse to shop in a supermarket without a digital scale. 10 little tins of tuna, 10 orange bottles of shampoo, 9 bananas. What? Count again. How did I get 9 bananas in my trolley? This is impossible. I look behind the eggs, behind the bag of beans. This is not possible. The drug-addled multi-level marketer is standing behind the counter smiling. Those teeth are money well spent. He's got a smile like a Scientologist's. Well, I'm going back. I can't buy 9 bananas. He can wait while I go back to aisle 12 and get another. Just as I'm about to excuse myself, someone comes to a stop behind me with a basket hanging over his arm. Now I'll lose my spot. And I was here first. What kind of a Nigel No-Friends is at the supermarket this early on a Saturday anyway? Must have had a big Friday night with Inspector Morse on DVD and a cup of hot cocoa. The Scientologist drug dealer is still standing there. His smile is fading. He folds his arms. The guy with the basket is reading Celebrity Nose Jobs or some other Pulitzer-winning publication picked from the display near the checkout. He must be nearsighted because he's holding the magazine about 1 inch from his face. All I can see is his forearms below shirt sleeves scrunched up to the elbows. Dangling over the edge of his basket, amidst 2 trays of mince, 3 trays of sausages, a jar of chili paste and 3 apples, is 1 unfettered banana.